Talk to me about the ceiling intro, because I don't understand. Look, I know that it's became a thing where like everyone asks you that, but like I've literally watched it in 0.25 speed. And I'm like, how is this happening?
You're now listening to The Creator Code, the podcast dedicated to unlocking the secrets of your favorite online creators. Each week, we will deep dive into the tech, tips, and tricks to find out what truly makes them tick. Whether you're a new creator just starting out or an accomplished veteran, this show is made for you. And now, here's your host, MattyTingles.
Okay, welcome back to the Creator Code podcast. I am your host, MattyTingles. This is the podcast where we unlock the secrets of your favorite creators. Thank you so much for being here. As a reminder, full video of these episodes are on YouTube, as well as Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts. Today is season 2, episode 4, and we have a very, very special guest joining us. Listen, I am talking about over 6.2 million subscribers. I'm talking about over 500 million. That's right, with a B, billion views. OG YouTuber, co-creator of SMOSH, incredible content creator, and most importantly, one of the kindest people I've met in the industry so far. Of course, I'm talking about Anthony Padilla. Anthony, hello. Welcome.
Hello, Matty. Thank you so much for inviting me. The moment that I saw you wanted me on here, I was like, hands down, drop everything. We're making this happen.
Hey, man,
dude.
I really, really appreciate you being here.
Yeah, for sure, man. I was like, an excuse to talk to Matty. Let's go. So I don't care what he's gonna ask me. I don't care what he's gonna talk about. I just want to talk.
I love it, man. I really appreciate you being here. It's so good to see you, man.
For sure, man. I love what you're doing. Yeah, it's been a while.
It has been a while. We will actually get into that. All right. So first of all, welcome. Thank you for being here. How are you doing in general?
I am doing really well. I'd say I'm doing really well. You know, I feel like I dipped into some darker times, peak COVID.
Sure.
You know, quarantine really got the best of me, and feeling like even though my world didn't really get changed that much, it still felt like enough was changing that I kind of realized, oh shit, I have to give up control a little bit. I have to be okay with rolling with the punches, and that was I think that was hard for me to take on for a little while. But I'm good now. I'm feeling good.
Good. And you're in a new studio, it looks like, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I moved my studio since last time.
Yeah.
You're shooting with me.
Nice. It looks and this is where all of your videos look great, and that's at the new studio.
You,
the new. I love it.
Yeah. This is the new one.
Okay. So moving from the last studio where we met and the new one, Let's get right to it. Let's get right to it. You don't have to answer this if you don't want to, but
oh shit! I'm like, what the hell could you possibly be asking?
Talk to me about the ceiling intro, because I don't understand. Look, I know that it's became a thing where like everyone asks you that, but like I've literally watched it in 0.25 speed, and I'm like, how is this happening? How is this happening? I love it. It's so good.
No, I felt like I needed to catch people off guard at the beginning of my videos.
Yeah.
Because, I don't know. I feel like there's so many different types of videos out there that kind of do a similar enough thing to what I'm doing, where it's like, let's learn about this topic.
Right.
You know? So I felt like I had to catch people off guard right away to be like, this is going to be a little bit different.
Yeah. It's unbelievable. I watched it forward and backward. I'm just like, I'm almost really to the point. I'm almost to the point where I don't want to know.
Wait, what were you looking for when you were looking at it at?
I'm just looking for like how I don't get it. I really don't get it.
All I will say is it is so much easier to do than anyone thinks. I mean, people think. Okay. I have people sending me like their theories about it. It's gotten deep. They're like there's something set up right outside a frame that you're jumping off of. Right. Like, how do you do this? I'm like, no, it's actually quite a bit more.
Don't tell me.
That.
Don't tell me.
You know what? If I told you, I'd have to kill you. And Matty, I love you. I don't want to kill you.
All right. Yeah. I think it's hilarious that's became a thing. Like, people really want to know.
It's funny. I mean, yeah, you could ask Tubbo. I taught him how to do it secretly.
Okay.
He knows down low the info, but
okay.
No one else knows currently.
Oh my gosh. Incredible. Yeah. And that's honestly really smart of like first thing, catch people's eye. Really smart. Really smart.
Yeah, it's weird. You know, you've had to start, at least on YouTube, you've had to really start looking at just in terms of the way that they've designed the algorithm, the audience retention. Like you got to hook them in. If people in the first second see, I don't know, they click away immediately just because they're another thumbnail popped up right below it that looks more interesting. Like you're constantly competing with what's shown around your video, and there's stuff everywhere of like, this is a better video, click it.
Yep.
You got to catch them off guard a little bit. I feel.
It's smart. I love it. I love it. All right, so let's just start here. How are things in LA? In general, COVID wise, I keep seeing people that I'm following there like partying and at big events. Like, how are things in LA?
I feel like it's kind of case by case now, legally and even socially. I think it's acceptable to kind of treat the world like COVID doesn't exist. I'm still treating it like it exists. I'm up to date with as much as I can about vaccinations, about COVID tests and all that stuff, and I try to keep really tip top. I shoot out of the studio here, and I have a crew that helps me. But it's like weekly COVID tests and rapid tests each time we come in here, just because I feel like we're still not out of the woods yet, and I want to make sure I feel comfortable in the environment if I'm going to be around other people, and still like mask up and everything like that. We really locked it down here.
Yeah. I know that, and that's like, so I'm in Oregon, and that's kind of how the same here, but like, I don't know. I'm seeing more people at like events and parties, and I'm like,
it's
what?
Really person by person, right? Yeah. It's like, it's weird though, because then you start getting segregated from those and then there's like all these micro groups of different types of people that are like, I think it's acceptable to go out whenever you want. Then there's a group that's like, I think it's acceptable as long as you have a mask. There's all these different groups of people, and it's weird because even the people that you're closest to might have a slightly different idea of what's cool, what's not.
It's so weird, and this could be a whole nother podcast because the last 2.5 years have just been so crazy, and I think we're like fundamentally changed now. Like I last night I was thinking like, I can't imagine going even into a store or a restaurant or a movie theater or an event without a mask. Like it just seems so weird.
Yeah. One thing that I realized, I was like, dang, is it safe to go out to a movie theater? Maybe it's safe to go out to a movie theater now. And then I was like, I really wish I could just sit there and eat popcorn. I don't know. And like, I never thought that I would be fantasizing about being in a movie theater, eating popcorn. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I know. It's been crazy.
Things, right?
Is it weird for you to be on the other side of an interview? I know you've done
weird.
some.
I feel like I have to be. I feel like I have to be in control or something. I'm like, all right, do you need me to adjust my lights? Do you need me? Let's change it up. Let's change it up.
Yeah. Is that I saw you just did. I don't know if you just did it, but the JHB interview just came out. And stuff, and it's gotta be weird, or at least a different thing for you to be on the other side.
Yeah, I mean, again, it's I don't know. I feel like I have to be in control of something, and I don't know what that says about me, but I'm like, creatively, we got to get let's
Yeah.
But it's nice. It's nice. I just get to chill.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's see. We got to work together a couple years ago, and yes, it's been almost 3 years ago.
It's been almost.
Isn't that insane?
Holy shit! Yeah, that's insane.
But you did the I Spent a Day with ASM Artists episode. Before anything, just wanted to say thank you for having me in that.
Oh
that
my
was
God,
such
absolutely. I think that you're
such a cool experience. And I remember I think we did that in 2019, and 2019 was when ASMR was like really crazy big. And I was getting requests to do stuff like that, but a lot of them were like parody, not putting it in the right light, right? So I was turning down a lot of stuff. So when you reached out, I was like, man, I love this guy. I want to do this, but I want to make sure it's like, in the right. We
didn't know each other back then, No. So you had no way to know what my intentions would be.
The big once I knew GB was a part of it and Pokey, I was like, okay.
Was that all it took?
I was like, all right. It's because they wouldn't do anything that's But that was really, really fun. And I have to, I don't know if I ever told you this, but I'm so happy with how that video turned out. It's so good.
Thank you. I'm really happy that you, like, the number one thing that I keep in mind whenever I make a video with anyone really is, like, I hope that they are just as excited to watch it as, everyone else.
Yeah.
The last thing I want, and it's weird because my interview series, the same one, started off as kind of like, let's see how weird people are.
Right.
It just very quickly evolved into just like actual genuine curiosity, and in a way that didn't feel like it was poking fun at all. It was like, we can still be lighthearted and have fun, but it can be from a kind of like a mutually respectful place.
Right.
Yeah.
Which is,
I'm glad it was that by the time
it really was. And with you never know how things are going to be cut when you're done shooting something. And all of that. So I was like,
someone literally, like, you could take everything out of context.
Yeah, exactly. And so I was like, man, I hope this is going to, I'm sure it's going to be good, because
Did you have your worries afterwards?
Not, because I don't think I did anything or said anything that would have been, but I was really impressed with how it turned out. So just thank you for that, man. It was genuinely one of the honors of my career so far.
Dude, I really appreciate it. I look back at that video all the time. It was such a good time.
It was. All right, so in that video you said,
oh shit,
if this video gets 150,000 likes, that you would document you trying to experience ASMR. As of right now, it's at 241,000 likes.
It did surpass that.
What do we need to do to make this happen?
All right. Let me explain myself. I must address the controversy.
Love it.
Okay. So I don't think it reached 150K until COVID, and COVID was a thing, and it was like, this was an event type thing, and I don't even know if they do that event.
Right.
That's really all there was to it. There were a couple other videos I did where I was like, if this video gets this amount of likes, I'll do something.
Right.
And by the time it got there, it was like, it wouldn't make sense. It's COVID, man.
Totally, 100%.
Maybe I'll go back and revisit it, but it's been years.
The only reason I brought that up, I thought it'd be funny, but also, I went to that video a couple nights ago researching for all of this, and it was like the third comment down, and I was like, oh,
I was like,
okay, that's something.
You forced me to address it, man. I was hoping that would slide by.
Right?
No, I'm kidding. Yeah.
Oh man, I love it. Let's see. Okay, so I think I would say, outside of your channel, I would say a lot of people would know you from SMOSH, correct?
Right. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, for sure. I mean, I still get that all the time.
Right. So talk to me about SMOSH, and I know that you get asked this all the time, but I just know a lot of people literally grew up watching you.
Yeah, which is still so weird.
It's got to be, right?
To fathom, you know what I mean? Like, I can't comprehend. I feel like a human brain cannot comprehend.
Even for me, I got a message yesterday on Instagram, or a comment that was like, I'm a freshman in college now, and I started watching you in middle school. Even that kind of stuff, I'm like, that's so weird.
It's like from a child to a full-blown adult.
Yeah, it's so strange. All right, so talk to me about, you don't have to deep dive into it, but talk to me about just where did SMOSH come from, and how does it feel to know that something you co-created is what, 10 billion plus views on that?
It is so unfathomable that I feel like there's no way that I will ever be able to fully comprehend what that means, you know? Like, visualizing, trying to visualize this thing is impossible.
Yeah.
There is no way. It seems conceptual more than like an actual thing. And in terms of the concept of it, I've been able to accept it, and that's really all I can. It's I don't know. I've tried to sit down, because actually I was listening to your interview with GB, and you were like, can you even comprehend the impact that you've made, the numbers?
Right.
And I was like, I bet you he's gonna ask me something like that. And I tried my hardest to like visualize it, and it for some reason is just impossible.
It's insane, man.
And then in terms of the start of it, I think the best part of it is that it really was all just something that was entirely organic. There was no end goal which is weird because I feel like growing up, you're constantly told, like, what are your goals? Where do you see yourself in 5 years? What is that? Always be working toward that thing. Don't be lazy.
Right.
And for us, you know, creating SMOSH as a duo with my friend Ian.
Yeah.
It was really just an organic process of trying to make each other laugh and have a good time. And then it just slowly evolved, and we were like, let's just go where this takes us.
Yeah.
And, you know, it started off so small. It was like recording on a webcam that I had borrowed from my dad and then uploading that file to my own website, which was smosh.com at the time.
Right.
You know, and for those of you that don't know, we started making videos before YouTube was a thing.
Insane.
And at that time on the internet, there was no place to host a video.
Right.
So even hosting images and stuff was like really few and far between, but video was absolutely unheard of.
Yeah.
So I hosted it on my own website, and I had a server that not at my house. I like rented a server, and you put it there, and other people can load it.
Wow.
But the thing is that the more time that it's loaded, the more bandwidth you have to start paying for.
Right. Yeah.
So as this video that I started posting on MySpace, and it started getting copy pasted to a bunch of people's MySpaces.
Yep.
I couldn't tell how well the video was doing, but I started having to pay more and more each month for the server bandwidth.
Gosh.
And then so it somehow went viral on MySpace through copy pasting of the video embedded on the page. And then someone had downloaded that video and uploaded it to YouTube. And I remember at that time, geez, I was 17, and I was like, dude, wouldn't it be crazy if like this video went viral, if we were like the theme song guys? Because it started off with us lip syncing a theme song for a cartoon, or for like Power Rangers and then Pokemon. And we found that someone had posted the video on YouTube, and it had like a dozen comments, and I was like, it was mind-blowing to have everything compacted onto a single page, to have people commenting, to have like a little ecosystem around a single video that was never that had never been done as far as I could see before that.
Wow.
And then I remember a few days later, I was like, cool, it's time to let's message these people, see if they'll take down this video so we can upload the official version.
Right.
And I couldn't remember the name of the site. I couldn't remember. I boiled it down. I thought it was iTube.
Yep.
Because everything was iMac, iPod, whatever at the time. And then I looked through the history, saw it was YouTube, and they removed video that they had uploaded, and we started posting. And suddenly the next day it went viral on the front page of YouTube when YouTube started just getting press and people were just knowing about the website. So it's been insane, man. Ever since then, it's just been just like
that's such a crazy story. It's like just perfect timing.
Yeah.
Like that's just, and like I remember, like I was big on MySpace in, I guess that would be high school or middle school stuff.
I love that phrase. I was big on MySpace.
I was big on MySpace, right? But like the term like viral and virality like wasn't even in my mind then. You know what I mean? It was like what like dashboard confessional lyric am I putting in my away message? You know what I mean? Like,
because like where would you find a viral thing?
Right.
Like email forwards? Like emails getting forwarded to you? That was
it's so
about
crazy. Man. Yeah. Okay. All right. Wow. I mean,
man.
I think that's an amazing story. It's timing for sure, but it's also you guys realizing, hey, this could be a thing, and going with it.
And it wasn't even like this could be a thing. It was like we like this, and it was like let's just keep doing this thing that we like. And it's weird because there were so many people coming to us. They're like, this is going to be a thing. This is let me be part of your journey. Let me become your manager. And we were like, what? Like, dude, like I grew up really like financially unstable. I never really, paycheck. It was paycheck to paycheck. And the idea of making money on something that I enjoyed doing just was not even a concept that I'd ever imagined.
Right. Wow. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, just for me personally, when I told people that I was flying down to LA to do a video with you, people freaked out. because Smosh was such a big part of people's lives. Like, it's just unbelievable, unreal.
That's so cool.
Yeah, I think, man, I think it's one of the craziest stories in this world.
What, you flying down?
No. You guys creating Smosh. And all that. It's got to be, if there was a YouTube history book, it would be in there. You know what I mean? It's amazing.
Yeah, that's a really weird part. Is a lot of people, I feel like it becomes this weird, like, inherent goal to leave an impact or to become like memorable for something.
Right.
And I still can't fathom that it is kind of integral into a certain time period of the internet.
Yeah.
It's really cool. Really, really cool.
So as someone who's been around for that long, which is amazing. What advice can you give creators listening out there, specifically about longevity and just how to stay relevant? Because you're a great case study of longevity.
Thank you, man. That really means a lot to me.
Yeah.
And I had a lot of fears about what would happen to me when I decided to leave Smosh. Almost 5 years ago now, man. But I had a lot of concern about that, a lot of insecurity, and it's just really cool to know that kind of going with my gut was ultimately a decision that worked out for me for I feel the better. But in terms of advice, all I can really say is that for me, what I've found, especially riding those waves of up and down and feeling like you're on top of the world and then feeling like you're at the bottom and no one cares anymore.
Right.
I feel like I've really experienced just the entire spectrum of that. I wish I didn't worry so much whenever there was a dip in whatever I considered to be a measure of success at the time.
Right.
For me, it's also been like looking at the big picture has really helped me. I used to worry about individual videos and be like, this one didn't perform well. What do I have to change? How should I evolve this? Because obviously the ultimate goal, or at least it feels like it at most times, is to keep growing and expanding. And I would really worry about those individual videos or projects. And now I just really look at the big picture. I try not to stress too much about those individual things. And every time it's like, what can I learn from this experience? Rather than, I fucked up. It's like, cool, this is a great way to learn. Let's keep going. Let's keep experimenting.
Yeah.
But I think to answer your question even more specifically, it would be, for me, it's really been about allowing myself to go with the flow, as much as that sounds strange, but like continuing to go or evolve in the direction of whatever just feels right at the time.
Yeah.
I feel like I've always kind of known what feels right and what doesn't quite feel right. And whenever I've gone with the things that don't quite feel right because I've logically explained in my head, this is the more important thing to do, this is the safer thing to do, it's never really paid off in the same way as what just feels right.
Right.
Which is interesting because it is, in a sense, just going with the flow, which is bizarre. And we're taught as children that we shouldn't go with the flow. We should have goals and we should make sure to always accomplish them no matter what.
Yep. Wow. I mean, I think even for me, who's this is my 7th year, I can attest to that. That's very real.
And I think that you're even a testament to longevity at 7 years, man. The internet is so fast now that 2 years could be considered a testament.
Oh man, I mean, when I first got into ASMR in 2012, it wasn't really that big of a thing on YouTube, right? And then I created my channel in 2015, and even then, the people who I was watching in 2013, it was like a 2-year shelf life. Like they were like 2 years, and it was that was it. So, very.
What do you think it's been that's allowed you to remain,
man,
at the top of your game for so long?
I think being a part of a genre that is still being discovered every day is really big. Like ASMR is still I wouldn't necessarily say a household name. I think a lot of people know about it now. But
I think enough people know. I see at Target there was like a squishy slime thing, and it was like great for ASMR.
Right.
Like people, it's a household name if it's in Target.
I'll take that. But yeah, I mean, just staying aware of what's going on in the community and in other communities has really helped me stay where I'm at. Just keeping up with everything. But that's
constant awareness. And it seems like, genuine interest as well.
Absolutely. All right, so talk to me about the I Spent a Day With series. So it's actually been, this is what I saw on your channel. It's actually been like 4 or 5 years since you did one of those, but the last couple of years has been specifically that on your channel. That I Spent a Day With. So talk to me about that. I know it started. I think it started with the 360 camera. Thing.
The Flat Earthers video.
Right. So talk to me about what was the decision like where you're like, let's just do that.
I think I was doing so much experimenting on my channel when I first did that video.
Right.
Coming from SMOSH, coming from somewhere where it was like, it was sketch comedy. It was be funny and therefore, create content around being funny. For some reason, was implanted in my head as the only thing that I could do.
Right.
So I was really just throwing shit at a wall and seeing what could work. And I felt so lost. And I was doing these weird, like bizarre sketch videos where it was like all improvised, but there was an outline, and it was so many strange things. But the first video that I made when I first left SMOSH was a video where I interviewed other YouTubers, and the whole goal was like, what is it like to be a YouTuber, an independent YouTuber in 2017?
Right.
I've been with the company doing people handling uploads, people handling all that stuff for quite some time, and it was kind of a parody of that.
Yeah.
And I was playing a character that was super aloof and almost purposely awkward, because that's in a sense that's how I felt. I was like,
right,
I don't know what I'm doing. And something about that was just so fun, and I was able to have fun and riff with people, and I had been wanting to return to that style for a long time. So I was in that mindset of comedy, and then a mindset of interview people and make people laugh. And then I had this offer to do a sponsorship for a 360 camera, and it was like, oh, of course, we got to interview flat earthers with a camera shaped like a globe. And the goal with that video, as I said earlier, was really like, let's see how bizarre these people are. And in a sense, I wouldn't say it was super mean-spirited, but it wasn't from a respectful place.
Right.
And I really, first of all, it did well. The views did great.
That helps.
People love that video, and that definitely helped show me, like point me in that direction.
Yeah.
But I also just really enjoyed riffing with people. But slowly but surely, I realized that direction of making it this silly kind of video of look at how bizarre these people are, it just wasn't working for me. I spent a day with furries, and it had evolved. At that point, it wasn't, let's see how bizarre these people are, but there still was a thing in the back of my head that was like, these are the people that people think are strange.
Right. Yeah.
And speaking with these furries, I realized just how much they were just normal people, man.
Right.
And, I felt like in that interview, I for some reason was able to open up my mind, remove my judgments, just be like, let's understand these people. But at the same time, I was doing comedy stuff, so I was like, it just felt natural to be fun and lighthearted and make jokes, but not at the expense of anyone in the video. It was like with them.
Yeah.
And I just had so much fun doing it that it was pretty much around then that I decided this needs to be my only thing. I love doing this. This has so much room to grow. I'm curious.
Yeah.
I love learning about people. I love interacting and having conversations with people. And at the same time, it was teaching me how to socialize because I'm so socially anxious that I was able to integrate socializing with people into my work and also make myself more comfortable speaking with people. And it just felt like it all fell into place so nicely. And it just felt right, going back to that.
It felt right. Yeah. I think it's a really, really unique niche on YouTube. And I think it's really, really cool. I've watched so many of them, and every time it ends, I go, wow, I just learned a lot. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I appreciate that.
That's really, really cool. Do you have a favorite one or one that really sticks out to you outside of the ASMR one?
Oh, man. ASMR one's the only one I like, actually. The rest are shit. I've really been... It's all the in-person ones are my favorite.
Sure,
and that's maybe I have a little bit of rage against COVID right now, but it just feels weird, talking to a screen, even talking to you on a screen right now. While it feels like, you have a good camera and good audio, it feels like you're right here, but most people don't. And when I talk to people, it feels like there's this weird disconnect where I'm constantly reminded that we're in I'm talking to a screen, I'm losing the body language, there's lag, there's all these things that I'm dealing with, and it just feels like when I get someone here in person, there's like this magic spark. So, but man, I really wish I could choose. It's the ASMR one. Dude, that's it. Hands down.
I'll take it. Look, and there's no right or wrong answer there. I'm sure you've gotten something from all of them. I'm sure.
I think and there's such a vast variety of different ones that I guess I would have to choose a couple, and I would say the one I did with Corpse and the one I did with Dream were really cool because, first of all, they're faceless. They don't really talk about many personal details. And I was able to get an incredible artist named Jesperish, who is just a master at illustrating a person and make it look so oddly real, but yet obviously an animation at the same time.
Right.
And he animated movement, and it was the first time I'd ever seen anything like that. But once I had the idea for that, I could not let it go until I made it. And it was such a release of that creative energy in a sense.
Nice. Yeah. Both great episodes.
Thank you.
All right. So actually, you just kind of brought me right into the next question.
Hell yeah.
So the spend a day with series is mainly interview style, if you will. How difficult was it to adjust with COVID, and how did you and your team deal with that? Getting people on the show and all of that.
It was more of. It was really tough, and it was tough for so many different reasons. The studio I was shooting out of shut down. I immediately had to find somewhere else. Literally set up here in my living room. And not seeing people. I threw a TV on a chair and tried to make it feel as much as if it were the actual interview series. Still, everything was the same. I was still trying to treat it like it was exactly the same, but throw a TV on a chair. Let's go. And it worked out surprisingly well. And then I've slowly kind of just been evolving with that. But it's just been we were able to make it work logistically after a couple months. But that disconnect that I felt, it's just that I've never been able to fully cope with that. Because even up until yesterday, I just shot something remote. And in the back of my head the whole time, I'm like, man, I would have such a deeper understanding, connection, the body language that we're missing from guests. All that stuff would be so much more interesting all around.
And even the episode that we did, I couldn't really imagine doing that. Over video,
because there was so much interaction. And that's one thing that I miss every single time I do one that's remote. I'm like, we shared a microphone and we were we did so many different things that were just interacting. And whenever I get someone in person, I want to do that so badly.
I think everyone had to kind of figure things out the last couple of years, right? Like whatever their respective corners of the internet are as a creator, everyone had to kind of go, all right, so this is a thing. Let's figure out how we're going to continue to do our thing. So when we filmed together, I thought it felt really thought out, and the questions were specific and engaging. What is the prep stage like for you when you have something coming up? How much time do you spend on that? What is that process like, prepping for a guest?
I've actually changed it up quite a bit since we did the video together. Back then, it was like, I'm interested in a topic. Let's find some guests. Okay, we got some guests locked in. Cool. Now I know I could spend, a couple days really deep diving in on everything that I could find relating to the topic.
Right.
A lot of watching videos at 2x speed, trying to I feel like I'm opening my brain and I'm just like, fill my brain with knowledge, go quick.
Yeah.
But since then, I've added another step to the process, which is about an hour-long pre-call with each and every guest.
That's good.
So I get them on and I'm like, here's the tone of the show. Here's here's how I like to keep it lighthearted while also getting serious.
Right. Nice.
And a lot of those weird logistical things that I was explaining on the spot before. And then it's like, here's the format, the types of questions, the direction that I'm hoping to take the conversation, and we'll break down certain things there, and they'll break down some details. And then it's like, here's the goal, here's a takeaway that I'm thinking we'll probably have from the episode.
Nice.
And that's pretty much it. Then we get him on and we just roll. But it is involved, in terms of how much time per video. I'd say it's probably about 20 hours of research and planning and, the pre-interview calls and the notes process and writing the outline and all of that.
Wow.
And that's just because I like to overly plan for stuff. When it comes down to it, usually I'm just like riffing with questions.
For sure.
I realize I have to throw out all my notes usually.
Look, man, even from the beginning, you're a producer. You're a producer, man, and you have producer brain. You're like,
I've never thought about it like that. I'm just the interviewer. This is what I have to do.
No,
I have to do
but that's all that prep and the over prep and all of that is not a bad thing. That's you being, let's cover every base. Let's cover every angle.
You know what? I enjoy it. I enjoy that process too. I've started expanding my team. I believe I have 8 employees now.
Wow.
8 full-time employees. And I have been really good at delegating certain parts of my work. I'm able to be like, here's the thing that's really hard, time consuming for me that I could teach someone else how to do.
Yep.
I need to focus on the things that I really enjoy doing, because that step of the process, I don't want to hand off to anyone. And all that prep, I actually, while sometimes it stresses me out in the moment, I'm like, shit, I don't have enough time to do all this prep and all of that. I actually, in the end, I enjoy it when I reflect on it. So I've been trying to just enjoy the process more, because I do enjoy it.
I don't know if it's because you're a professional at this or not, but you keep saying things that just lead me right to the next question. So that's unbelievable.
Really?
So the next question I was going to ask you was about team and how your team has grown. So look, I'll preface it with this. I'm really interested in people who are successful in the realm that I'm in, right? And I watch every interview. I really try to learn from people who have done it, right? And every successful person that I know has a great team. Every single one. And the biggest thing that I'm trying to learn now while building a team, and that you just said, is learning how to delegate roles and tasks and stuff, because
it's hard, man.
It's really hard, because I'm for me, everything that I've done, almost every time, if I delegate it to someone, it's not how I need it to be. And so there's a big trust thing there of like, okay, if I get an editor, but like, what if, am I wasting time if they need to do 5 edits when I could just do 1 how I need it? That kind of stuff. So talk to me about building a team and learning kind of how to delegate tasks and stuff, because it's really hard.
Yeah, I mean, there's that aspect of it, and I think that's probably one of the biggest deterrents for most people to start building out their team, is because they're already worked to their max.
Yeah.
They know that they will feel burnt out if they add any more work to their plate. They've already filled it up to right to the edge.
Yep.
And when you hire someone on and you want them to do something, you want it to be as if you did it.
Right.
And that requires so much training.
Yeah.
And that first hire is really the hardest hire. Luckily, I got really lucky with my editor. He actually emailed me and was like, love what you've been doing. Here's some of my work.
Nice.
And it just so happened to just click. And because of that, I think that he was the first person that I was able to really relinquish that sense that I needed to control everything, because some of the creative ideas that he was bringing were so much more
nice.
They were so much stronger than what I could come up with. Huge shout out to Mike Krishamanya.
Yes.
I don't know how to say his last name. Krishamanya like lasagna. And I'm like, Padilla like tortilla. I get you, man.
Love it.
But he is a creative mastermind in many ways. And because of that, I was able to take all that stress around getting the edits to be perfect. And I was able to start looking at all of my work like that. It taught me to be like, what could be done better if it were not me doing it?
Right. Yeah.
And I was able to be like, okay, it's worth me working with someone and assuming that I'm going to spend 2 months training them. And the whole process there is, if you're able to teach someone something once and then they're able to apply that going forward, and you're never teaching the same thing twice, then every single bit of effort that you put into that training process becomes something that's building towards something.
Nice.
It's not the right fit, and I've learned this the hard way. It's not the right fit when you teach someone something and then their inclination is to do it differently. And you tell them, again, this is the way that it makes sense for me to do it. Here's how I would do it. And then it pulls away from that. That's when you know it's not the right fit.
Yeah.
It's when you find that person that thinks a lot like you.
Nice.
And is able to apply those things going forward.
Nice. I love that.
Yeah.
And you said team of 8 right now?
Yeah. And the way that we've been expanding that is every time I can, I'm like, what do you like doing most and what do you like doing least?
Nice.
The things that you like doing least, let's try to see if we could find someone else, a new hire, to help with those things, so that the things that you like doing can get even stronger and your energy is spent in a more creative space where you're not stressed out about those things that you don't like.
Nice. I love it, man. It's really, really difficult, but I again, seriously, for creators out there, when you get to a certain point, start building a team. Like every single person I know that is even remotely successful has a great team around them.
Yeah. It's tempting though to be like, I got to do it all on my own though, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. That's where I've been for the last 3 years.
You have a team? Any kind of team?
Yeah. So I have a manager and a brand manager. So that helps a lot. Yeah. But I'm still doing all the editing, everything.
You're doing all the podcast. Like you have no one that's even helping you shoot this. This is all
this
you.
Is it.
You're setting up all the lights. You're producing it.
This is it. And again, like there's a lot of stuff I could delegate. It's just, I guess, finding the right person and trusting. It's just been a lot of things not working out. So I'm like, well, I'll just do it. Yeah. You know what I mean? But I'll get there.
I do think that it's worth the investment.
And
I think that the more you do it, the more that you learn pretty quickly when it's not a good fit, and therefore you're not wasting their time, you're not wasting your time. It can be a much more rapid process.
For sure. All right, I have maybe 6, 7 more.
Nah, dude, let's go.
When you upload to your channel, you have the finished product. I'm assuming your editor will come up with a draft and send it to you, and you okay everything, or what?
Basically, it's there's so many steps in the process.
I
don't even know if I can. But we have people on set. We have someone on set to handle DIT.
Yep.
And that is, ingesting all the data as it comes out, and then they're putting together a really loose project file with kind of the basic interview cut together and all the audio synced up. And then I have an assistant editor who will then cut it way down, and because each of these interviews are probably an hour to an hour and a half.
Yeah.
Cut all of those 3 interviews down to 1 interview that's about 25 minutes long.
Right.
And then I've gotten to the point where it's a really brief notes pass, where it's like, this doesn't feel right. Maybe we should move this over here. This part's slow. This part, I remember saying this thing that was really interesting.
Yep.
This conversation was really great. Let's add that back in. And then it's maybe 1 more review, and then my team handles it, polishes it up.
Nice.
And hands off the file. And I just started training someone to upload the file to YouTube, which I was like, that's such a quick, small part of the process. I can handle it. I timed it the other week, an hour and a half.
Oh yeah, easily.
An hour and a half.
Yeah, easily. With tags and title and description and
tag title. When you got a sponsor, you got to make sure it's linked right. You got to double check every link. Everything.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Okay, so when you do upload, so you have this file, and hopefully whoever you're training uploads soon.
Yeah.
Talk to me about do you feel pressure every upload when it goes live? Do you feel pressure to continue the series that you're doing, and also for it to do well? How do you deal with that?
I love that you asked me that, because when you were talking with GB, that was something that I think she said something. I don't know. It made me think of this, and I actually reflected on it before we started talking. I feel like one benefit of training someone to handle the upload is that I get to detach myself from it a little bit more. And the more that I have been able to detach myself from certain parts of the process, when I was editing every single thing myself, it was like every single thing was my baby that I cared so much about, and every individual thing. It was so much harder for me to look at the bigger picture of, let's reflect on this on a, quarterly basis rather. Plus, you have videos that do really well 4 months down the line.
Exactly.
They pop off. And I've had so many experiences where back when I was doing every single part of the process, I would monitor it right after release, and I'd be like, oh, this is 10 out of 10. Thanks, YouTube, for letting me know it's 10 out of 10. I could have done the math. I knew it was 10 out of 10. And it really like hurt. It sat with me. I was like caught up in my head with all these thoughts about why and what could I do better.
Yeah.
And then 4 months later, I look and it has 1 million views. I'm like, what the I worried about this video that has 1 million views?
Totally.
Why did I spend so much of my time and energy worrying about this thing that, I could have reflected on so much later and been able to not even have thought that it was a problem in the first place?
Yeah.
But at the same time, I do really care about everything. But now I look at every single video as a learning experience.
Yeah.
What could have been done better? Let's look at it. Because what ultimately matters the most to me is that I really, really enjoyed the entire process.
Nice.
And if I enjoyed the entire process and I feel like I learned something, I feel like someone watching it who's really, really interested could learn something, then I've already accomplished my goal. Now it's about how can I continue to expand my team so I could do more of this stuff that I like doing. I enjoy the process. Let's allow me to do more of the process.
Nice.
Yeah.
I think that's really good advice for any size creator out there, being able to and look, I get it. For the majority of people, they're not going to have an editor and people for most people, right? But that's a great point, is when you're doing everything, every step of it, you're more attached to it. You're like, this is my baby.
Yeah.
That's a really good point. And so and so delegating this kind of work for you has helped you detach a little bit from that.
And I do think that with that knowledge, I'd be able to go back to editing things myself, or doing every part of the process myself and uploading it, and walking away with that knowledge of, oh, I'm so attached to it because I was attached to every part of the process. But it'd be so hard.
Oh yeah.
So my heart goes out to everyone doing every step of the process. It's hard to it's hard to not want to just get so deep into why was this one successful or why was it not.
Yep.
And it's also hard to remember that this metric for success that is something that you established. And
right.
You dipping might as well have been you rising a year ago, because that number is, it's just relative to where your new expectations are. And if you're constantly changing your expectations for yourself to be higher and higher, and this is my new height, this is my new bar, then you're bound to always be disappointed.
That's great. That's really great. Thoughts on YouTube's decision to take away dislikes? What are your thoughts on that?
You know, interesting. I know it's really controversial.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people eventually down the line will kind of forget about all the negatives of it, all the things that really suck about it. Like, because I think that there are tons of pros and cons to it. I think people will forget about the cons, and the pros will really outweigh them.
Right.
Just because this negativity that I feel the dislike button fostered might start to kind of fade away a little bit. Hopefully that is the ultimate goal, and hopefully that ultimately happens. Because, you know, every single time I'd upload a video, regardless of what it was, 100 dislikes.
Oh yeah, easy. Oh yeah.
People are subscribing to dislike because they're like, oh yeah, that felt good.
Right.
Got a little of that pent up energy out. Let
100%.
it out on someone. You feel shitty because I feel shitty.
Right.
And but on the other hand, of course, I see the benefit of having it. So maybe down the line, there's a way for the videos that people would normally dislike for very legitimate reasons.
Right.
Those videos could be handled appropriately, pushed away from the algorithm, stop being pushed. But, you know, in a sense, the best way to do that is to not comment and not acknowledge that video that you would have disliked.
Exactly.
And you don't need to interact. There's a way to not interact with something that you don't like and therefore not help support it.
Exactly.
Without feeling the need to, like, I need to dislike it.
Yep.
But, you know, again, I completely see both sides of the argument. I just hope that ultimately it will be proven as a good decision. I hope
that's exactly what I think. I think the long term. I think I hope that's what it does.
I have a feeling that's what their thought process was behind it. It's impossible to know exactly what it was, the politics behind it.
Right.
But I hope that it was coming from a place of YouTube has many very negative corners to it. So maybe this helps diminish that. Maybe.
Yep. I'm with you. All right. Actually, she's came up a couple times, but I actually have a question from GB. I texted her. I texted her the other day. And I was like, "Hey, GB. I got Anthony on the show. Do you have? Give me a question. Oh, so this is from GB.
Let's go.
She would like to know, over the years, what have you learned about anxiety? Not necessarily how you've dealt with it, but what have you learned about anxiety over the years?
I've learned that anxiety is my imagination being a little too strong about the future and what negative sides or what negative things could happen. You know, it's all theoretical.
Yeah.
So I've learned that it's a lot of me focusing all of my energy on the negative what ifs.
Yeah. Nice.
And it's impossible not to many times, but I've been trying to remind myself that really it's just because I try to turn it into a positive. I'm like, I'm just a really creative person that just has way too much imagination going on right now. That negative shit probably won't happen.
Right.
I try, you know, it doesn't always work, but I try.
Yeah.
And it's gotten a lot better.
Look, I think whatever works, everyone is different. Everyone's mind is different. And whatever works for you that can get you to a better place, even if it's, that's I'm gonna create like what you just said, I think is great, man. Yeah. Whatever works.
Do you have a trick? Do you have something?
Man, that's a great question. Again, this is switching I'm not used to being on the other side now.
Sorry, I can't help it.
No, you're good. I know. I honestly, I look at it. So for instance, like there's a natural anxiety of like when you're about to upload a video and you go, man, hope this does good. All of that. Right.
Yeah.
And especially like you said, when YouTube goes 9 out of 10, 10 out of 10, then it's like, oh God, you know, and it's really easy to spiral there, right?
It's easy to be like, oh my, everything's going to be 9 out of 10 after this.
Exactly.
It's so easy.
I think that my experience has helped a lot because I know that things, even if things are low, that they'll turn around. Like for instance, because they have historically. I'm not saying they will forever, but I just go off historically. Like for instance, most people, if you're not a creator and you don't pay attention to this, you may not know. Like normally on YouTube, January, February is rough for most people, right? Yeah. And I keep seeing people like on Twitter being like, "Oh my God, I think my channel's dying." And in my mind, I'm like, dude,
Yeah.
It's January, February. Just wait, because this is the 5th or 6th time for me that this has happened. And I'm like, that's just part of the, just ride it. Just it's so I think just historically reminding myself, like, this has happened before.
Yeah.
Keep going. Really helps me with that.
Yeah, experiences. You know, and I hate to hijack your interview, but you said when you go to upload a video, you hope it does good. You hope it does good. You said you hope it does well. What constitutes doing well to you?
Sure. So the biggest thing is really interesting because ASMR at the end of the day is genuinely to help people. Like, we really, I think it's easy to lose sight of that when you get into producing and lights and cameras and making it.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, all of these views and comments are from people who are saying, hey, this really helped me.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm going through this and this calmed me down. Right.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, that's the goal. But it's really hard to quantify that. It's really hard to go, how do I do that? Right. So I guess for me, doing well, I'm an analytic person for sure to a fault. So obviously that part of it, is that's part of it I hope it does well. But I'll be honest, there's videos that didn't do well that have comments on it that are like, hey, this saved my life. This. I'll take that over anything. You know
and if
I mean?
That's your, I went down a very similar path, very similar train of thought. If that is the goal, then you could pretty much rest assured that there will be a significant impact on somebody.
Yeah.
Or, you know, if you want to say like enough people, you know, but it's like, it really is just as long as it's somebody.
Right.
And with that in mind, each and every upload is a success if that was your goal.
I like that. Yeah. And I think I don't know. It's really hard to not be wired into this analytic, you know, with YouTube Studio and stuff. It's really hard to not.
You have to, and it's weird. You have to have both sides of that brain active.
Exactly.
You know, and it's extremely hard to remind yourself that you can do both at once. You can consider each video a success while also looking at the analytics and say, well, how can we get it seen by more people?
Right. That's great. That's a great point. Yeah, you got to be on both sides. Which is
you got to keep yourself in check. You know, you can't allow yourself to say the measures of success is the numbers, because that's the easiest thing to look at. It's the easiest metric to compare, and you know, I just think getting too caught up in that is detrimental, because it actually, in many ways, prevents you from your ultimate goal, which is if it's to help someone. If it's to leave a positive impact on someone, sometimes those analytical goals, if you get too caught up in that, will pull you away from your ultimate goal.
100%.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you, GB, for that. I know she.
we had like a 10-minute conversation. Shit, we should have been here.
I know. But when I found out you were down to do the show, I was like, GB, give me a question. I want you to be involved.
I'm stoked.
All right. So talk to me about Press Like Productions. So this is a production company you launched in like 2020, I want to say.
Yeah, I don't know what the specific. I think it was
a couple years ago.
Yeah, but basically it's basically just like the small team that I've put together to produce, you know, from beginning to end, the interview series that I'm doing.
Nice.
Like I said, 8 employees so far. We have a studio that we're building out, and the team's requiring itself naturally to grow bigger and bigger. And through the process of me sitting down with employees and saying, what do you really love about what you do? Let's find ways for you to do more of that. And then also, what are your least favorite, most time consuming, maybe menial parts of the job that stress you out? How can we take that work off your plate, give it to someone else, hire someone new? And the goal is, you know, in the future, we'll be able to create things that are outside of the interview series.
Sure.
Right now, we're just growing as much as is required to produce the interview series at its highest,
Yeah.
I don't know how to describe it, but like as well as I possibly can. And I
Yep.
keep having all these new ways that I just want to keep refining and improving. And it's requiring a bigger and bigger team. So eventually we'll get to the point where our team, we're able to expand it enough that we can do more things outside of just the interview series.
I love that, man. And so just for people out there, just know, like, 8 employees on paper that may not seem like a lot. That is so many employees to have. Like, that is a big deal. What you don't have to give away all of your business, but out of those 8 employees, what are some of their roles in Press-Select?
There's and that doesn't include the people that work with me that are not full-time employees.
Sure.
So that doesn't include like someone that I hired that can reach out to specific guests that I might not necessarily have access to myself.
Nice.
I wouldn't be able to put out a public casting call type of thing for.
Right.
So there's that, but then I have a producer that handles all the scheduling and connecting with guests and all that. I have a business partner who used to be my manager and still does my manager roles, but also now works as an employee to kind of help me manage the team as well.
Nice.
And also is constantly finding new ways to make my strangest dreams for this company come true. I get to tell my business partner, here's something that I think would be really cool. And she's able to be like, cool, I'll figure out a way to make it happen. Let's go.
Love that.
And then I have 3 assistant editors, 1 main head editor who kind of is managing the editing team.
Yeah.
A sound engineer that's entirely dedicated to all things sound and music and audio design. Camera operator, not full-time yet, but there's so many opportunity. Every single time I hire someone on as freelance, I really am interested in what they want to do most, and sometimes they're able to integrate themselves into the company and become an employee when they used to be a freelance person that I work with. And that's how most of my team has been hired. Someone that already worked with me where it made sense for them to take on bigger roles, or a lot of my team actually reached out to me via email.
Amazing.
And was like, hey, love what you're doing. Here's some a way that I might be able to contribute.
I love that.
It's been amazing, man. I don't know many people that get to have that opportunity to work with people that so deeply understand the type of thing that you're doing. But, 3 or 4 of the employees.
That's amazing, because they're all that means they were invested already enough to reach out to you, and so they're already kind of they kind of know what you're doing, at least on a surface level, which is great.
We're on the same page, and they're interested, and because they're actually interested in what it is that we're creating, they tend to be so much more creative themselves, and they're excited about it, and they want to see it grow. And not to say that hiring someone that is doing it because they need a paycheck is any worse, or anything like that, but people that are invested tend to contribute in a way that's a little bit more big picture.
Yeah, absolutely, man. That's goals, man. I love hearing about that, man.
It's cool. It's cool. I haven't talked with anyone about it. It's been literally in the past year and a half that I've started hiring anyone, and I haven't even gotten the chance to really talk about it and reflect on it. So I appreciate you bringing that up.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely.
Yeah.
At what point do you think a creator, and this is I think it's case by case maybe, but just generally, at what point do you think it's time for a creator to start building a team or get a manager or agent or anything? What point of their career do you think that's a thing someone should look into?
I'd say when you are comfortable with the type of content that you are making, something where you don't feel like you are constantly each and every video having to start from scratch and figure out what you're doing. And then, I've been at that stage in my career before where, right after I left SMOSH, every single video was an individual video that needed to have a concept from scratch. And then I would have 30 of them and I'd throw out 29 of them. I'd shoot one, I'd hate the video. I'd go back the next day, shoot something else. And that was so time consuming. I'd say once you get past that part of your career, your path, or whatever you want to call it, once you get past that point and you're able to be like, I know what I'm doing. I really enjoy doing what I'm doing. And the ideas just kind of come out.
Yeah.
Once you're at that point and your ideas are starting to become bigger than you're capable of committing the amount of time necessary to accomplish, then it's time to sit down and write out a list of what you do.
Yep.
Maybe even track the amount of time that you spend doing it.
Nice.
And start weighing, is this something that I love doing, and is this something that only I could do?
Right.
Or is this something that I could find someone who might be able to do it better because they have more time, they're able to spend all their time and attention on it? Or is this someone who maybe is just innately interested in doing this thing that I'm only interested in because I need to do it in order to accomplish my ultimate goal?
Right.
So once you get to that point, I think it's a no-brainer. Obviously, the funds are an issue, and there's so many things like that. Maybe you find a partner that's willing to work for a really low rate at first, and you say, we're going to grow together as partners, and even if you have something in writing to say, as I grow, your paycheck will increase as long as you have enough faith and confidence in me to accomplish my goals, and you're willing to work with me to accomplish these dreams with me.
Nice.
That could be a good way to start, but again, it's tough. It's really tough if you don't have the funds, and sometimes it requires making a product consistently enough that it brings in some revenue from YouTube, or if you're able to get a sponsor, that is amazing. Reinvest all the money that you make. If you have big dreams, reinvest every single cent.
Yep. I love that. That's great advice. Someone clipped that what he just said. That's really, really great advice. All right, I got a few more for you. You have came an unbelievably long way since like you said, borrowing the webcam from your dad and and all of that. How have things changed over the years in the world of content creating? How have things since MySpace and SMOSH and all of that, how have things changed?
Everything has changed, but I feel like there is a core foundation that's remained exactly the same. And that's creating stuff that you just organically love to create.
Yep.
And while simultaneously watching the market, for lack of a better term, see what types of things are gaining an audience and find a way to mesh those worlds. And that's super difficult. I know it sounds easy when you just say it, but it's super difficult. If it weren't difficult, every single person in the world, I'm sure, would be creating themselves expressing themselves creatively and finding a way to profit off it. It is very hard. But if you want it enough, and people say that type of thing all the time, but if you not do you want to be successful enough, but do you want to express yourself in these ways enough? I think that you will find a way to do it.
I love it.
But everything else has changed. You have to constantly be watching the way that algorithms didn't exist when I first got started. It was like, if you're subscribed, you get to see the video.
You get it. Oh my god! You got
1 million subscribers. You got almost 1 million.
Could you imagine?
Dude, I know.
Oh my god!
Every single subscriber viewed it, but the content, there became so much content. I don't even know the numbers anymore. It's like hundreds of thousands of hours of content being uploaded to YouTube all at once. And if every single person got fed every single video from every single subscriber,
there's a reason the algorithm's there. But that's crazy to think about. Like when you were uploading back then, there was no algorithm. It was like a newsletter. Like you're signed up, you get it.
Signed up and get it, and it was insane. It was like having content hand delivered to each and every single person that was interested.
Oh my gosh.
I remember when that changed, the algorithm changed. I was I did not know what to do. I did not know what was happening.
Yeah.
You know, and looking back at it now, I think they started developing the algorithm to combat clickbait. Personally, I am under the assumption that the YouTube algorithm was initially developed as a means to battle clickbait because it started taking into account audience retention time. It's the videos that demand enough attention for people not to click away because they were satisfied by what they were offered in the title and thumbnail.
Right.
We're going to push that content most. Maybe that's what it was. I don't know.
I think you're onto something, honestly. Yeah. Because I mean, even to this day, like, people know that I tell this to people all the time. Like, YouTube viewers aren't as dumb as people think. They know immediately if something's clickbait, if something's not real or genuine. They know. Wow, that's really interesting.
Yeah, and you know, it's birthed the career of many people that have reverse engineered that, like Mr. Beast. Yeah. You know, at one point when I talked to him, it was like he was thinking of the title and the thumbnail before the video content. And he was like, how can I justify that exciting title and thumbnail and make people feel like they got exactly what they wanted and more?
Yeah.
And he's mastered.
Man. Yeah, he's it's unreal. I actually saw an interview with him talking about like the importance of thumbnail and title and stuff. And he's like, it's up there with everything. Like, that's, and it is. It is.
It's wild. It's unfortunate, but it's true.
Yes. Dream guest for an I Spent the Day with? Do you have
That's
one?
funny. I thought you were asking me if Dream was a guest.
Oh no, sorry. Do you have a dream guest?
Dream guest? Dream was guest. Dream guest. Besides Mr. MattyTingles. Let's see. I mean,
you've had a lot of people on.
I have had a lot of people, and a lot of people have been dream guests.
Yeah.
And it's weird because there's no way to quantify which guest is more of a dream than the other because I have so many dream guests.
Right.
But I will say Bo Burnham would be just an absolute pleasure to talk to. I feel like it's the perfect level. The conversation, I imagine, would be the perfect level of just comedy, lightheartedness, deep conversation, and philosophical shit that I fully welcome my mind to be broken by Bo Burnham.
Let's put that into the universe. Let's make that happen.
Let's manifest it, man. It happened. I'm just gonna be like, it's gonna happen. Boom. Thank you.
That's such a good answer. That Inside special, I was not okay after that. It's so good.
No, I sat at the blue. I was in the dark. I sat at the blue screen with the credits playing for 20 minutes. Netflix had to ask me if I was still watching. I was like, I'm watching the thoughts in my head now.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite pieces of art and video ever. It's so good.
It's art. It's everything. It's every element. You know, every time you laugh, you know, it's because you're actually crying a little bit.
Exactly.
You know? And I think that's the perfect balance. So if you ever see I Spent a Day with Bo Burnham, one of the video titles, just know that I cried, I died, everything that could happen to me happened to me at once in my head.
Let's make that happen. That would be incredible.
Let's make it happen.
That would be incredible.
Yeah.
All right, couple more. Who inspires you?
Who inspires me? I feel like there are a lot of people that inspire me that are in my own space, in this space, digital creators, Bo Burnham, like we talked about. Yeah. But going back even deeper, like into the background of my psyche from like my childhood, people that I really respected and thought did such cool things before I could even grasp the concept that it was a job, Mr. Rogers, I think. There's something about the way that he was able to, I think he was really able to see that bigger picture, and success followed him while he was able to focus his energy on the bigger picture of let's spread positive messages, let's respect one another, let's get to know people, let's be curious.
Yeah.
And, while being lighthearted and fun and loving. And then I feel like it's a cliche, especially as an interviewer, but Oprah, I look at Oprah a lot, and I just find everything Oprah does so fascinating and inspiring. I love how none of the questions that she asks, you can tell there's her personality in the direction of the conversation.
Right.
It's where she genuinely is curious and taking it, and I feel like you can just feel her organically guiding the conversation in places that she is interested in, and she's so highly respected because she's so respectful to the guests in her show. And I'd say it would be a dream of mine to someday, have any amounts of the kind of respect that someone like Oprah, I'll just say specifically, like Oprah, if there was any kind of way I could, if I ever felt like I reached a place where I was respected as much as her, I think I would be very content. And I already feel very content, so I can only imagine how much more content I could feel.
Sure.
Yeah.
Great. Oh man, I loved. I watched the docs and the movie, the Mr. Rogers stuff. Incredible guy. Incredible guy.
Just tugged on your heart the whole time, man.
Yeah.
Every element of everything he did, I was like, that. It just, I really feel like he's someone that just went with the flow with what felt right to him.
Yeah, that's a great answer. Great answer. What's the most used app on your phone?
I don't know. You know what? Let's find out. I was not prepared for this. Let's see. Isn't there a way to look? Oh yeah, you go to your time. Okay, let's just see.
Yeah.
I wonder if it's gonna be something embarrassing. What? Okay, I gotta go for the week. Let's go last week.
Yep.
This is it's Safari. It's Safari, of course, but then YouTube Studio.
See?
Is that stats? See, I'm deep in the stats. But see, I just launched our shorts channel, our highlight clip channel.
Yep.
And I've been so deep into looking at the analytics and trying to figure out what works and what YouTube likes and what doesn't, because every platform is so hyper specific. I used to I hired someone to start making clips for TikTok, and we used to just put the same thing each place. Right. Or something like YouTube wants it this way, you got to do it this way. TikTok wants it this way, you got to Instagram Reels wants it this way. Everything needs to be specifically tailored.
It's the same concept, but each one needs a little bit different things.
Yeah. Everything. Okay. Yeah, it's so wild.
That's YouTube Studio. Hey, that's honestly, that's probably mine. I'm sure.
That's a shit answer. Discord, otherwise. It's
Discord. Okay, there we go.
Discord is a close second. 10 minutes less screen time.
Love it.
Discord.
Love it. Okay, I love it. All right. What's next for Anthony Padilla? What's next?
It's hard to answer that when I'm like, it's gonna be just go with the flow, feel what feels right. I've been continuing to refine this series. I say this I'm looking around right now at the set that I'm on. It's I spent a day with set. So I know people listen on podcasts too. Yeah. So I've been trying to refine it, and there's always something new that excites me about refining the process.
Yep.
So it's gonna be building out a team that's bigger, and not because the numbers are cool of how many employees that is, but because I keep finding new ways that someone can help me expand and refine on this series that I'm already doing. But beyond that, I have some ideas for some ways to expand and ways for this production company to help me create more content that's outside the realm of me hosting an interview series.
Nice.
But they're so early in development.
Sure.
I feel like I gotta wait for those to get fleshed out.
Yeah. Don't say anything.
Yeah. No, but we'll it's just gonna be about continuing to grow what we're doing now. And I think a lot of people's goal, at least it was at the beginning of doing YouTube, was to like, get off YouTube, get as big as you can on YouTube, suck it dry for what you can, and then take it to traditional media.
Right.
But I really enjoy being in this space. I really enjoy being independent.
Yep.
I've worked as an employee of a company doing creative stuff back when I was with SMOSH, but it wasn't fully independent. I love that freedom to just go with the flow and understand, or like take each and every element and just keep refining on every step of the process.
Yep. Oh man, that's great. That's really great.
Yeah. Thanks, man.
All right. If you could hear anyone on this podcast in the future, who would you like to hear?
It's got to be someone that has a sweet, sultry voice, man. It's an ASMR artist interviewing someone. It's got to be good. Let's see. Who would I like to hear on here? Justin Bieber or Snoop Dogg.
Love it.
Just going straight for the top.
Straight for the top.
Let's do it.
I like it. I would love to do either of those.
I know they listen. I know they're big fans of the pod.
Yeah, Biebs is a big one. Yeah, all right, last question. And I always save this. I always save this for the last. This is the spiciest. This is the most controversial. This is the one that will be a YouTube short. This is the one. All right.
Let's go.
I asked every guest this. Pineapple on pizza. Is it a yes or no for you?
Fuck. It goes so back and forth, man.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna say no, because I'm not in the mood for it right now. Sometimes I have been in the mood for it. It's been a bizarre experience.
Yeah.
It's like a roller coaster for your mouth.
Yep.
You get a little bit of everything. It's like, ooh, we're sweet. Ooh, we're savory. Ooh, yeah, so salty and so sugary.
Yep.
Overall, I'd say I much prefer other pizzas. But, once in a while, I'll take a bite just to, take a ride on the wild side.
Okay. I like it. You heard it here first. You heard it here first. Look, man, I so much appreciate you doing this. I appreciate you, man. It was so nice to catch up and talk. It's been a while. But
it has been a while. We gotta do a thing in person, man.
Absolutely.
It's starting to die down.
Yeah. And honestly, that's it, right? Like, I had 4 trips to LA booked in 2020. 4
all canceled, right?
And all canceled. You know what I mean? So like, I think once things. Hopefully, I don't think things will get back to normal, but I think it'll be a new normal, some form of.
It'll be a new normal, and hopefully a normal where it means that we can interact in person.
Absolutely. Yeah. All right, man. I think you're fantastic. Please keep doing what you're doing. And
thank you, man. You too.
Thank you. All right. Where can they find you online? Plug away. This is your time.
Let's see. Luckily, I got Anthony Padilla on every single platform. We got YouTube, we got TikTok, we got YouTube Shorts, which should be a different platform, but it's the same platform as YouTube, so you don't need to know that. We got Instagram. It's everywhere, man.
Everywhere.
Just search it, indulge yourself in it, flood your face.
Love it.
Anthony Padilla. That was my pitch.
All right. Yeah. I love it. All right, guys. Thank you so much for listening out there. Please remember to subscribe on YouTube. Leave a review wherever you're listening to this. This has been the Creator Co Podcast. I'm your host, MattyTingles. Be safe out there. Be kind to others and yourself. All right? See you next time. Bye.